All right, what's up everyone? On my way over to Jacob, we're gonna run up to the McKenzie warehouse today and pick up the form for my full body mount. We're pretty fortunate that we have a McKenzie taxidermy supply warehouse like 50 minutes from where we live. Before Jacob started mounting our deer and we used other taxidermists, talking to them, it was like, that's like a very fortunate thing to have there, because it costs taxidermists a lot of money to ship the forms for the mounts because they're so big. With that right there, taxidermists in our area can drive up with an enclosed trailer and pick up a bunch of forms at one time, saves them a lot of money. So like with Jacob going into business with taxidermy, it's nice because I mean, you're gonna save a lot of money in shipping. You can go get a bunch of them at one time, save you time, all that. So we're gonna run up there today, get this form. It's probably about all we'll do today, and then we're gonna get started on them tomorrow, mounting them. But so we got the form, and those of you who do not know, when you get a full body form, well, any form comes in measurements. So with a Kansas deer as big as this one, we needed the biggest form. Well, we really didn't care for the way the head was, so we had to do some modifications. We bought a full body form and then a shoulder mount form, and we cut the head off of this shoulder mount form and took that head and put on the full body, and then cut this off the full body. We wanted him to look like what he looked like when he stood up when I shot him, and it's gonna be pretty dang close. But like I said in the last clip, we went up to get the form. Well, since then I've been busy and Jacob's had some free time, so he's got the form together here. We got it all sanded, it's all clayed, eyes are in. The hide's flat, it's the hide over here. Turned out real good. I built this neat bench last night. It's really gonna help us out. But yeah, so we'll go back and show you the steps prior. It's just a lot when you're mounting a deer, a lot to do to individualize every step. I mean, we kind of wanted to, but we got some time lapse and a little bit of video of each step. So we'll go back, show you that now, and then we're gonna throw his hide on and get him mounted up. So Jacob has been sewing for 9 hours. He's got everything sewed up, the hide's completely on. We just did the feet, so now we're gonna put him back on the base and pretty much just touch everything up and then just kind of babysit him until he dries. And then after that, then he'll do what he does to the face and make him all pretty and get the hide looking good. But we just wanted to fast forward through the sewing process because it was 9 hours. My buddy's finger's sore. So he's looking good though. All right, so before Jacob finishes the deer mount, I'm gonna build my own base here at Do It Yourself Outdoors. Just do everything yourself. Because if you try to buy a base through any taxidermist company, they're like outrageously expensive. So we're gonna throw this together. First off, we're starting with our plywood. I'm using 3/4 plywood because the full body mount's gonna be kind of heavy. If you have something smaller, like a turkey or something, you could use like 7/16 plywood, like OSB board or something cheaper and thinner. But we got 3/4, so I'm gonna start out. I'm gonna cut this. All right, so you're gonna cut 2 2x4s, the length of your plywood, which mine I have at 53.5. Because then after my trim, I'll be at 55 inches. That's just what kind of worked out. And then we're 18.5 wide, plus our trim will be 20 inches. So it'll be total when it's done, it'll be 55 inches by 20 inches wide. That's kind of what worked out. So we need to cut 2 of these at 53.5. Those 2 ready. So now we got plywood's 18.5, minus 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches, so minus 3 would be 14.5 because they're going to sit in between here. So we need 2 of them, 14.5. Go like that. I'm gonna flush these ends up. Make sure we're good. Now we got some 1 5/8 screws. I'm gonna screw this plywood down. So my math was wrong earlier. I need 15.5. I thought it was 14.5. But we got enough lumber, we're good. Alright, so there's our base as of now. So next step is we're going to put wheels on this thing. And I could have framed it first and then laid the plywood, but it was just easier to do it that way. So we're going to flip it over. Now we should need 2 more 15s.5. All right, so we have our 2 15s.5. We're gonna lay them in here like this. All right, now we got some 3.5-inch screws. We're gonna tie this together. All right, so we got all 4 of our corners tied together. So I'm gonna get these back into place. All right, now that we got those in place, we're gonna put this back over and then screw these down from the top. All right, now we're gonna flip it back over. Make sure they're good and tight in there. If they are, I mean, if you want to, you can run some screws through here to keep them in there, but I got 6 down from the top, so that'll be good. All right, for the next step, we got these wheels. I didn't get the ones with the locks because you're not gonna be able to get underneath of it to lock it. But this will be nice for like when we do shows, we can like wheel them around. But you set these in here like this. Now you wanna make sure where you set them that you can get a full turn. See how that's hitting right there? You gotta come back a little bit, make sure you can get a full turn the whole way around. Now, I got 2-inch wheels. This is 3.5 inches wide. This is 1.5 inches. So with a 2-inch wheel, you got a 1/2 inch of clearance. So I'm gonna mark this right there. All right, now we got our wheels on. So when we take the buck to shows, we can wheel him right in and out of the door. We're gonna flip this back over now. Now we're gonna trim the outside. I'm gonna run my sides flush and my ends pass, just because the material I have doesn't have, they're all cut ends. The person I got them from cut the ends, so either way I'm gonna have the ends of the board showing. There's no way I can get around it. I'm using barn wood, so I'm not gonna like 45 it, so that's how you would do it. But like barn wood, you don't run on 45, you just kind of like barn wood trim it. So I'm gonna have ends showing, so I'm gonna run my ends flush and then my sides out pass. Really just have a trim saw doing this, but I don't feel like getting it out like a miter saw, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna use a steel saw. All right, now we're gonna just tack these on with the trim gun, and then we'll come back later and screw them. But you're gonna run this flush with the bottom so it sticks up and gives you a lip at the top, and that way it'll still roll. All right, our ends are done. Now we just gotta do our sides. That's what I meant about the ends, having the ends, but all the pieces were already cut, so they all had cut ends. I just squared them, re-squared them, because whoever cut them off probably used like a sawzall or a chainsaw. right, now for the next step, what you want to do is blow off all your sawdust. Now you're going to take Elmer's glue. It's going to take a lot. Get you one of these foam things here. Spread it all around. Want to make sure it gets everything. Now mainly you want to focus on getting the edges. Well, I mean, you want it everywhere, but just make sure you get them because it kind of fills your crack in along your edge. And then, like I said, this is just regular Elmer's glue. Now for one of the last steps. Now you can get this at Lowe's or probably somewhere else too, but I don't know, I got it at Lowe's. It's just peat moss, hydro peat. You're just gonna take it like so. Now it's kind of like what it's packed in that bag real tight, so it's clumpy. You want to make sure you break up all them clumps. It's gonna be a messy job. Finer dirt of like whatever this is that's ground up, the finer stuff works to the bottom, and then this kind of like fluffy stuff sits on top. All right, so now I remove the excess stuff off the top, and it kind of, like I said, it kind of sifts the dirt down to the bottom, and then I'm gonna let it dry. Then this, like I said, it'll be as hard as concrete. Let it dry for a day, and then what you do once it's hard as concrete, you take a blower and just blow all the excess off, and then everything else just sticks like concrete. But so yeah, that's how you build a base. What it took maybe an hour and a half, and costed maybe $50 in material, when like taxidermist companies are charging like $150 for something like this. So DIY mount base. There you have it. All right, back working on the buck. Jacob's got his face all painted up and finished. So we just put him on the base. And pretty much what we're doing is we're drilling little holes like this. Taking this CRP grass we got from Kansas and stuffing it in there. All right, deer's all finished up and heading back to his final resting place. So, show you the results when we get there. All right, so he made it back in one piece. He's at his final resting place. Can't say enough about Jacob's work. He literally did an amazing job. Deer looks like he's alive in the house. He's to the exact pose of when I shot him, and I literally couldn't be any happier with him. This is exactly what I was looking for, what I had in mind. Trapperman Antlers did an amazing job as well. You couldn't tell the real horns from the fake one if you had them side by side. So yeah, I'm super stoked. If you go to outdoor shows and you see us there, swing by, check him out. You can talk to Jacob about his work. If you're from Gettysburg, surrounding areas, Jacob can do your taxidermy work. So you could direct message us or something to get his information up until he gets fully running his business. So he's just getting started, but he's gonna take it over because, I mean, look at this work.